Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Are you looking for what to charge for voiceover and audiobook work, but you don't know where to start or where to find what to charge? Let's talk about it. Okay, so you're new to the voiceover industry and or audiobook narration and you're like, "This is great, but what do I charge? How do I set my pricing for all these freelance marketplaces? How do I set my pricing for ACX or Audible or audiobook narration in general? How does all of this work? How do I stay consistent across all of these different platforms? How do I choose what my rates should be?" Well, this is what I suggest. The first thing I would do is decide on where you're going to market yourself. And what I mean by that is which voiceover websites you're going to create a profile on, right? Which websites you're going to market yourself on. And some of these websites have their own pricing predetermined, which is great because it saves you a little bit of hassle in trying to determine what rate to charge. But if you're on a website where perhaps you have to start as a brand new seller and you choose your own pricing, I would say for those, I would stay pretty consistent to the people in your level. Take a look at what they're charging, what their pricing structures are, and then choose one that fits you best. You can always change and increase your prices later, but unfortunately, on most of those sites, what matters most to clients is the social proof, right? Getting those ratings and reviews. It's just like if you think about purchasing something on Amazon, you type in the keywords, you're looking for something, and then you have two different items that are perfectly what you're looking for and they're both exactly the same price, but one has 10,000 five-star reviews and one has 0 reviews, and you don't know if, anyone has purchased this product, you don't know if it's real, you don't know if what kind of quality you're going to get versus the other one that's got 10,000 other people that came before you and said, "Yep, this is great, it works great, it's exactly what I wanted." It's the same sort of an idea. So, unfortunately, to get those social reviews or that social proof, those reviews, we need to start out around the same pricing structure as everyone else. And then once you start to move up and you have some social proof, then you can start to increase your rates. But if you're on a site where and let me just back up and say sites like that, I would say Upwork and Fiverr, right? Where you're starting out as a nobody, you're on a marketplace where I don't mean you're nobody, but you know what I mean. No one knows who you are yet. There's no social proof. Um, those sites where there is millions of people coming into every day for all kinds of different kind of work, it's not just voiceover related, right? So there's going to be all different kinds of pricing structures. But if you're looking at a website that's just voiceover, you're going to have a lot of similar rates. So, how do you determine what rate would fit you best? The first thing that I recommend doing, and you should probably do this even before you go look at Fiverr, Upwork, any of those freelance marketplaces, you want to have an idea of what you would like to charge. So, to do that, there's two different places that I recommend going to. And the first one would be GVAA. Now, the GVAA is a rate guide created by the Global Voice Acting Academy. It is considered to be the industry standard. On this rate guide, if you just go to globalvoiceacademy.com and then navigate over to their rate guide, just by scrolling down here, it will give you quick jumps, right? If you're looking for TV broadcast, radio broadcast, e-learning, imaging, audiobooks, pickups, animation, anything that you're looking to do in voiceover, it is here in the rate guide. And it also breaks it down into for TV broadcast, for example, if it's just local market, regional market, the rate range, so on and so forth. It completely breaks it down for you and any kind of notes that go along with it. So if we wanted to scroll down here to what is this radio broadcast? Let's just go down to audiobooks, non broadcast. Everything that you could want to find is in here. E-learning per word, per minute, per hour, because you'll have different clients who want different rates for, different lengths of things, either by word or by minute or by hour. Let's just get down to there's also video games. Here we go, audiobooks. Now, it also breaks it down into union and non-union. Most of us are non-union, um, just getting started out until you become union. But if you're non-union, then here are some rates for you. The industry standard rate is about 250 per finished hour. Now, you don't have to start there. You can start at whatever rate you want, but just know that your goal should be 250 plus per finished hour, right? So that was something that I learned early on, the industry standard rate. I think I started out at about $50 per finished hour at the very beginning as I was still learning my craft and how to edit and format and master all of these things. And then now I am past industry standard, but it took me a while to get there. But my point is that the GVAA rate guide has got a lot of great information in it. There isn't anything in here that you won't be able to find, apart from perhaps music and sound effects and things like that. Um, for those from music and sound effects, I would look at what everybody else is charging, in your space around you on that platform to get a good idea of what is normal and what is standard. But if you're not into music and sound effects yet, don't worry. That's something that is not common. You'll see that mostly with IVR. Some audiobooks want music and sound effects added, but that is something a little bit, later on with experience and time. But again, the GVAA rate guide is a great place to start. Another great place to look at to get an idea of rates is my friend and former coach's Anthony Pica's his voiceover rate guide on avosjourney.com. He has created this rate guide for people like us working online in a gig economy sort of environment. He has revised this a little bit over the years and has actually added some word count calculators to create, pricing for you, which is fabulous. But this is also broken down into non-broadcast for pay-to-play sites, which the GVAA does not have, broadcast licensing, audiobook narration. He also breaks it down to, beginner, intermediate, and seasoned or experienced rates, phone messages and IVR for freelance and pay to plays, e-learning corporate narration for freelance and pay to plays. So the main difference between GVAA is most of that is going to be union work, right? With agents and things like that, direct marketing. Whereas Anthony's, the voiceover journey guide, is more towards the online environment, right? Your freelance marketplaces and pay to play sites. So looking at the two side by side and then deciding how you're going to market yourself in this industry will give you a good idea on the high side, the low side, and then somewhere comfortable in the middle for you for going forward and pricing everything that you're going to offer in this new voiceover endeavor of yours. So, if you come to the point where you have a comfortable rate that you'd like to charge, I recommend keeping it consistent if you can, because again, some voiceover websites will have their own prices and you can't do much about it. But if you can determine your own rate, make sure that your rate is consistent across all platforms, all websites. Because the last thing you want to do is to have somebody Google search you after finding you on one website and then see that you're on several others and your prices are all different. You might have a client who's upset about that because they think they might be getting scammed or taken advantage of. And so they might just not hire you. You want to keep your rates consistent across the board. So a great way to do that is to create yourself a voiceover rate guide. It is also handy to have one of these on hand, so if someone does Google search you and reaches out to you directly via your own voiceover website or audiobook narration website, you can send them a copy of your rate guide. This does happen. Clients will reach out to you and ask for your rate guide. So, how do you create one? A great way to start making a basic rate card is through Canva. You can do everything on Canva. So, what you want to do, what I found works best, you can do whatever template you choose, but what I find works best is to search for a menu, like a food or drink menu. Choose any one that you want. Now, you can customize these any which way you want to, but what I was looking for was something that had pricing on it, something like this one. Because once you edit this template, you can change menu, you can add your logo, you can add your contact information, your email address, your phone number, whatever contact information you want to have on here. And then you can change these to e-learning, IVR, audiobooks, commercial, whatever you want, and then change these to per word, per minute, you know, local, regional, national. You can change all of these elements or create even more. These are 100% fully customizable. You can change the background. Let's just edit this one just to show you. So here you could type in your name, right? And under here you could type in your email address or add your logo if you wanted to. So here you could type in, e-learning, and then you can change this to per word, and then change this to whatever your rate is per word, and then get rid of course, the freshly baked bread underneath it. Or if you wanted to keep that, Control Z to undo that. You could specify per word. You could add any kind of clarification that you needed to. And if it needs to be 2 pages long, you could always just add a page or duplicate this page to create a second page for additional type of voiceover services. Really easy to do and customize. If I wanted to get rid of this line, I can, or I can bring it back if I wanted to, or even duplicate it if I wanted to add another line down here. Canva is really super easy to use. I can change the font, I can change the color of the font, I can do pretty much whatever I want to do with this menu and create a rate guide that looks nice. And also I can save it as or download it as a PNG. I can download it as a PDF, which is probably the best way to go, and be able to send that to your clients. There's really a whole lot you can do with Canva and creating your rate card. And then, of course, anytime you have a rate change, make sure that you go back into Canva and update your rate card. You want to make sure that it is correct at a moment's notice. If a client wants to have you or get a copy of it, they'll reach out and say, hey, send me a copy of your rate guide. You want to make sure that it's up to date and has the correct pricing on it. So I hope that helped you to determine what kind of rates to use going forward. If you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like me to delve into further, then please leave those down in the comments below. If you want live questions answered, I am here on YouTube every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. Be sure to join us for a conversation. We usually talk about a topic or two. So I hope to see you there. And consider liking and subscribing and all the YouTube things. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.